First time I thought my cancer experience was funny was probably that time on the bus. It actually is the first episode of Highly Evolved Human, and this guy leaned over to me and he just asked,
Yo, dude, you shave your hair off because you're going bald or what?
"No, I'm on chemotherapy." And I remember thinking the guy was kind of a sweet guy, you know? He just said what was on his mind. He didn't censor himself. He didn't filter himself. And when I told him what I was going through, he just wanted to connect, which I think is the wonderful thing about being open and honest. As he wanted to share a story that he had gone through. And then I remember when I got off the bus, I gave him a hug. It was kind of a nice moment. I remember going home and telling my mom, and we both laughed about it. And then I told the story at an open mic night while I was in treatment. And I had him introduce me as Nick with cancer because I was totally bald and I had no eyebrows, so I didn't want people to think that that was a choice. And I had been doing comedy for about maybe 10 years at that point, and this guy comes up to me after the show and he's like, "Hey man, that was really funny." And I was like, "Oh, thanks, man." He's like, "You should think about doing comedy." And I remember going, "Yeah." It was a really great moment for me. It was really poignant. But I think that was the kernel of the whole highly evolved human idea, was telling that story. Proved to me that being open and honest and vulnerable about what you're going through can really connect to people. So I encourage everybody to make art, create something, get that energy out there. I make videos because I just like to make videos.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. I just stumbled upon this video, and it inspires me to take action, to make art, to express myself, to try to connect with people. It's like the basic idea of this story time. As a storyteller, I want to connect things that I experience to you. And I will continue the story because it's very powerful. It's very powerful how it ended out to be. And it's very powerful how I start to feel that this is not like hunting at all. And I also start to feel like I can just say that I can't take this for granted. I can't just take the circumstances that I have today and say that, well, it's just random events. It doesn't mean anything. But my dad is at work right now. I can only work when he's not in the room. I can only make these videos if he's not around, because obviously he would be disturbed, and I would be disturbed. This is the hard part of the real life, because you're being judged real time. I can hardly rewatch my videos and judge myself, nor do I feel that I need to. Even though it's a very significant thing, because I would find mistakes that I make, I will let you, the viewer, decide what is wrong that I'm doing. And I will not try to rewatch the video, but I will try to remember what I said and work from that point. Because I feel uncomfortable, I always try to say to myself, can I challenge myself? Should I challenge myself? And in this particular point, I don't see the value of rewatching the videos. As well as previously, I stated that I don't see much value in reworking the videos if I already released them. So, because it was a mistake with the audio, I will still not re-upload them in any shape or form. What I will now start doing, because there are so many people involved in the story, I will start indicating them in an easier fashion. So we talked about my friend, my ex-friend, sort of, the evil Cupid. I will call him that way. And always remember he has blonde hair. And then there's the big-eyed, or that's how I just feel her to be like she's very curious. She's very childish. She chose a crystal to be the most significant energy which is really hard to control because you always have to be in between experiences. I guess this is what these movies represent as well, an experience in between of things, as I stated before. That's where the crystal can grow the fastest if it is in a lot of bullshit. I guess this is what I have created for her, sort of, when I hang out with her a little bit, when she was still in the relationship with the evil Cupid. And there's this third person, the girl that I talked about, which is also significant, and I said that there's gonna be a ending, the story ending, maybe, or maybe not. I mean, that's the girl that I will try to pick up, basically, in real life, because once I sent her a message, after a long time, I came to England, and I was like, holy shit, I feel this connection and everything, you know, I feel so emotional about the way you are. Of course she would reject me, because why not, right? I'm such a loser. So I will depict her as the phoenix, because that's what I drawn for her. For the evil Cupid, I drawn like this goat, because he's like, I don't know, the goat, right? His sign, his zodiac sign would be goat. But he would look like this Satan-like figure holding these experiences, I don't know, sitting on a cloud. It's always significant what I drew for each person. And for her, the phoenix, she would have this hairstyle where she would be bald at one side and she would have long hair on the other side, almost indicating like she doesn't care what other people think. And once at school I would wear a tie in a wrong way. It would be like too long or something, like this way, and she would like, I don't know, I don't remember who noticed it, if she actually did or she just heard the story and said that I kind of like this guy. And to have someone say that, I like you, like, of course I just heard it through friends, so it's not that significant, but it's still something that really I really liked when I heard about it. Yeah, and she's always smiling. She always tries to smile. She always tries to be attractive to strangers, which she kind of is. But I don't think she is able to express herself too much in the world that she has lived in. I would say is pretty similar to every B type of person. Kind of this isolation, but not that much isolation, where she was able to work through it. Anyways, so I will indicate her as the phoenix when I talk about her. I don't know how should I indicate this girl yet. Really don't know. The ultimate crystal? Nah. Too easy. She chose chakra, by the way. If you would follow the story about the energies. There's the fifth one, which is chakra. It's probably the energy of emotions, the energy that you get with food, basically. Whatever you eat, you collect this energy, and when you start burning the energy, that's when you actually use the fire to burn chakra and to have the physical energy that you do stuff with. You basically move and you have to burn chakra and in order to do the moving, you use chakra. That sort of stuff. You can imagine this as stamina bar. You do running, bam. It uses a little bit of that, and as well as my friend shows chakra. I'm not sure entirely, but he's kind of like the evil figure, right? But he's also like this Cupid figure. So the emotional energy the chakra is, I guess, is very significant. Why I say it's emotional? Because emotions are the most consuming of all actions. If you want to show an emotion through the body, it would fucking drain that shit up even faster than if you would be running or swimming or doing any kind of activity, because it's just something that humans have gained the ability, but we are kind of the only species that actually express emotions. So it's very crazy to think about how powerful this is. This ability to connect with other people, basically, to show the emotions, to express yourself through art as well. And she would choose a crystal. Like the stupid fuck. Yeah, it reminded me of Sims. This crystal over someone's head. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And you're like the god figure that creates the experiences for those crystal type of people, and they do anything you tell them to. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool thing. Anyways, I have drawn this because obviously I tried to repeat the story to myself, which I will do again to you. Take 2 basically. For every episode I have to make one take, just to make sure I know what I'm talking about. So one thing I figured out, what I don't like about this thing, is that people generally, like, if they have this need to be together, they will be doing anything to do so. They would have other friends to attach them together. I don't know, they would hang out in a weird fashion. There's this boyfriend and girlfriend mentality where you actually hold hands, you do some bullshit activities just to kind of make the connection, force it out, basically. That's what somewhat happened between, not really even somewhat, but yeah, like between the evil Cupid and the crystal. Okay, I will call her crystal, it's pretty cool. But not to crystallize. It kind of sounds like crystallize. Crystal eyes. I'm talking about eyes. Just crystal. I would call her crystal for how childish she would be, but it's not bad. It's really not bad at all. If you enhance one of the traits that you have. One of my traits is the writing energy, which I will get into later, but I will just leave it there. Like, yeah. But this is basically the expression of art that I have. It's pretty cool. It's taking action. That's what the energy means. It's very connected with the body, because body turns to action. So yeah, body energy. The energy that you get from the chakra turns to body energy, to the physical energy, and then the action itself. So I kind of try to slowly adapt you to my weird wheel of life discoveries, because it's really crazy. Like, as a child, 5 years ago, like I was 15 or 14, I created this and just put random symbols together, right? And it would turn out to be so fucking significant that it can explain everything, basically. It can connect to everything because it describes so many things at once. It's pretty amazing to show this thing to other people. I think, okay, I didn't show this to one of the people that I want to show it, but to everyone here, because they chose these things. Anyways, moving on to the actual story. So once I would meet the crystal, this girl, and it was her birthday. I would show her the Wheel of Life, right? As I said before, she would come into my room. It was like an achievement. I never had a girl to come over ever before. So it was really, really powerful for me. I would say, like, before she would come, like, oh, you shouldn't worry, because I'm the one that should worry. I'm like I supposed to, like, give this experience, right, to her. I supposed to make it all feel right. And yeah, I would explain a few things about Wheel of Life. I didn't knew most of the things at that time. Like, most of this bullshit that I'm telling you right now, I didn't knew. I was just trying to understand what it means by attaching some of the energies to the people, whatever the people would choose, and I would find it so fucking significant afterwards that, you know, what I am explaining now is just a very small snippet of what I can actually analyze. So she would come, she would choose this white energy instead of the black one. She would choose the crystalline fire. But that's not the point. The point was that it was pretty amazing, right? She came over so I could prepare her presents, so I could prepare this drawing that I would have drawn for my friend, ex-friend, the evil Cupid. And I would want to draw the same thing for her, but I couldn't give her the gift right after I ended drawing. After 6 hours, I would believe. Basically, I would sit in my room and just draw. Even though it didn't turn out to be very beautiful, I think I could do a better job digitally at this point. If I get a stylus and, you know, this equipment where you draw things, like on paper, but on the screen, that would be nice. I should figure out where to buy this bullshit, because it's pretty powerful. Anyways, I was drawing for 6 hours. That's kind of too much. Yeah, digitally I would do it faster and better, but that's not the point. I just wanted to give her the personality that I thought she was. And I would also, on the back, I would write like this poem or something, but it's not really significant, I would say, or maybe it is, who knows, right? Actually, a few words means a lot. If you repeat it over and over again, you can actually find a lot of meaning in every single word. Like love itself has so much meaning. I'm just basically talking about love, right? And just see how it branches out into these scenarios, which is so weird. So, I would try to call her, because I write her a message like, it's finished. I didn't get anything back. And it turns out that these guys would still hang out. They would hang out together, even though my friend would say, like, oh, I'm flying 2 days after, and it was the next day he would prepare himself and then fly, right? So he wouldn't like visit her at her birthday or anything, but it was not true, or it turned out not to be true, which always turns out to not be true with this guy. Stupid evil Cupid, huh? But yeah, I would try to call them, basically call them both, and she would explain the next day that, well, they were kinda like in this moment of breaking up. I don't know if that was the first breakup that they had, that I basically initiated these breakups. Because what happened afterwards, they got back together. But I will tell that later a little bit. I mean, it's obvious 4 and 5 breakups don't happen if you don't get back to the person. But yeah. So the next day I would come to her place in order to give her the gift. I only gave her the gift after I had to get out, basically. Because her mother's coming and everything. But, I mean, I didn't take that too seriously. Because, I mean, we didn't have the activity to do something together. I don't know. I just had to leave, right? But the thing is, what happened in her room? What were the experiences that happened, basically? It's interesting. Because she would live in such a wealthy place, but it's not really a great place, I would say. She would still be confined, isolated in her room. And it was weird for me to find her like this. Also, there's a significant connection between these two girls, because both of these girls have they have older sisters, and I think that's what actually made them the B-type person, because the first child would get so much attention, it would become so confined to the system that it just cannot be free in any way, and so it would give up. The other type of person maybe would actually try to do its own way, or find its own way of living. I don't know, but it did produce the people which I really would love to hang around a little bit more, which has a lot of more energy potential. It doesn't drain my energy that much. Well, actually it drains energy a lot faster, and that's what's so awesome about it. I'm saying like it shouldn't drain energy, but it's kind of not true, because the more value you want to produce, the more energy as well you have to burn as an equivalent for what you are producing. But the very bad feeling only comes from leftover energy, when you're doing not significant enough. That's the real bad feeling that you get. The real good feeling is when you actually are exhausted after doing something that you absolutely love to do. The bad feeling is when you're exhausted because, well, of what you didn't want to do. That's what happens when I go to the workplace. Sometimes. But I use it to develop my body. Because if I feel exhausted, that means that, okay, maybe I can get a little bit more energy, which at other points of my life I will be able to use for other purposes. Anyways, so I would come to her place and she would like try to hide me. At that point I didn't knew what was going on. But the evil Cupid would call her it was somewhat awkward to me. I would think that he kind of felt, or that my presence or something. I don't know. But also just showed how controllish he is, how always he wants to connect, force the connection, doesn't let her rest. Like, she complained to me how much attention she's getting from him, like how just he is just enhancing the isolation that she was in, so she would feel like the need to connect with him, but also would be forced to connect with him. It's kind of weird. Also, she would tell about, okay, not yet, but she would also hide me from her mother, which would be also connected to the evil Cupid. And yeah, she would ask me a lot of questions, and everything would be, if he would find out, I mean, he would also try to probably use force on me, which I totally found him to be aggressive at one point in time, when they were having probably the last breakup ever. Maybe not the very, very last one, because they broke up as friends at all. Anyways, so what other things I found significant? I don't know. I found a lot of dogs one day as well. Anyways, that's not significant. The next day I would do like this weird mistake of leaving a charger in her room, my phone charger, which is responsible for me having internet in the first place. Well, I do have the internet in my phone, but I cannot connect it to my computer. So what I would do is basically play this puzzle quest game, match 3 game, all the time. I don't know, actually, maybe I didn't have internet at all at the time, and the phone charger was not significant at all. I don't know, I can't remember exactly, but I was using some weird techniques, which I'm actually using right now. I'm using the tethering. I'm catching Wi-Fi through the phone, and then the Wi-Fi goes to my computer. So she would come to my place a second time to give me the thing, but it was also an opportunity to just spend a little bit more time, and it was so significant because that was like the first person that I was actually able to connect so well with. Like the very first time, texting her and everything, the thought process just went right, and then understanding how isolated she also is, even though she's living in the rich parents' house, right? But it's so fucked up how we live sometimes. We try to create our own homes, our own place, and isolate ourselves through the wealth that we have. We don't really use the wealth to create value, but we kind of destroy the value because of what kind of people are being born into these places. It's pretty interesting that they are actually feeling the isolation and they cannot express themselves too well. Yeah, and I would say that she would have an old computer, even though her father is like an engineer in internet, and she would still have problems with internet in her house. That was weird. Anyways, and yeah, her father actually would install internet afterwards one day. Like, that was also a weird experience that I will talk about later. The 4th time that she came was a lot later, and the end of the 3rd time ended up in me like weirdly crying, just continuing playing the repetitive game that I was, and just crying. and laughing at the same time, like it was so awkward. Why did I felt sad? But maybe she also knew, like she was able to express herself to me, like right, that she will not come back for a long time, because it was the weekend. The weekend ended, then the evil Cupid came back, flew back to Lithuania, and she would, she would have to come back to his space. Even though they broke up, he would come back, and in reality, he was able to pick her up again, right? Because she had the needs to have a boyfriend or something. She would be so isolated that after she rested, obviously, what she have spent the time with him, she would remember it and feel that it was significant. Even though what I experienced, I would believe that was way more significant to both of us, because I would like make her feel in between of things, between of the system and between of me, who is against everything basically. Oh yeah. Yeah. The point that I don't like this relationship, which is forced. What is the best way to do it? Not without any force. It's probably just being friends with the person, right? And just slowly and gradually getting to the point. But when the point comes, you still have to consume the red pill, and you have to have this bam in your life, like this weird connection that you have to go through, this weird thing that you have to go through with another person as well. The hard part, basically. We have to understand new things about how the life really works. The harsh part, basically, yeah. It's really powerful. I guess I really want to get to the hard part with everyone as fast as I can. But again, that would mean that I'm kind of trying to get in a better relationship, but I don't know. It all starts with a friendship, that's what I mean. At least in a B-type personality, we should actually start a little bit slower because we're so high on life. So yeah, we shouldn't push us too much and try to get to the goal too fast, even though we can and we should get to the goal fast, but we can do it gradually and understand all the things, because there's so much to learn. We have to do it slower than everyone else. Anyways, I guess that's it. That's 30-minute mark. I told you enough significant things. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome to be able to just express myself through these videos. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching.